Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Julia, and I'm so glad you're watching my video. Today, we will primarily focus on the aspect of love, specifically how love intertwines with the law of attraction in our lives. We'll also dive into a topic often referred to as remote seduction. I understand that the term remote seduction might evoke images of ancient love potions or scenes from fairy tales. It carries a certain air of mystery, but let me assure you that remote seduction is not a fantasy. It's a very real and powerful practice when applied correctly. So, what exactly is remote seduction? Essentially, it's the use of your mind's power to mentally seduce someone without speaking to them directly. I know this might sound a bit strange. And if you're feeling skeptical, I completely understand. I had similar doubts when I first learned about it. But when broken down, remote seduction is just an extension of what we already do in our relationships. If you've ever been involved in a romantic relationship, you've probably engaged in some level of remote seduction, even if you weren't aware of it. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself suddenly thinking about someone, even though that person wasn't someone you were normally attracted to? You might find yourself constantly thinking about them, even though there's no logical reason for this person to be on your mind. Chances are you are on the receiving end of remote seduction. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this person was a master of the law of attraction and was intentionally trying to capture your attention. In fact, most people who engage in remote seduction do so unconsciously. It's as if they've stumbled upon a secret formula without even realizing it. Here's where it gets interesting. If you learn and truly understand this magic formula, you can start using it consciously. Imagine having the ability to deliberately attract someone into your life and build relationships in the way that most people do accidentally. It completely changes the game. However, I only have a little time in this video to give you a brief idea of what remote seduction is and how it works. There are many layers to this practice, factors that can help you master it and factors that can steer you away from success. So, how does it work? As I mentioned earlier, all romantic relationships essentially start with remote seduction, but what I mean is that all relationships are energetically created before they manifest physically. Whether we're talking about romantic relationships, friendships, or even family connections, every relationship begins as an energetic bond. To clarify this, let's take family relationships as an example. You might ask, how did I create my relationship with my family if I was born into it? This is what we call intentional relationships. They were energetically created before you were even born. Your soul, before entering this physical body, made agreements with various souls, including those in your family, establishing strong karmic connections. In our lives, we often meet people who play a significant role in shaping our deepest lessons, and these connections are not random. Many of these relationships are formed through soul agreements that stretch across multiple lifetimes. Before our birth, we also enter into other types of soul agreements. These may include encounters with various soulmates, whether in friendship or romantic relationships. Essentially, we set these spiritual intentions before coming into this world, and because of that, many of our relationships are predestined. Throughout our lives, these connections evolve, changing in various ways. Each time we meet a new person, it is not by chance. These meetings are not just coincidences, whether on a busy street or during a random visit to a store. Perhaps you have experienced this, a random interaction with a cashier that feels unusually pleasant. What may seem like a spontaneous conversation was actually set in motion on an energetic level long before you physically crossed paths. Whether it was minutes, days, or even months before the meeting, your energies were already linked. Though it may seem strange, we are constantly entangled in a web of consciousness, silently communicating with one another. On a deeper level, we always know when we are about to meet someone. unconsciously arranging these encounters. This is especially true for romantic relationships where energy is particularly strong. Romantic and sexual energies merge, adding intensity to the interaction. When it comes to romantic relationships, it is never just a spontaneous spark. In reality, we mentally attract people to ourselves long before that spark ignites. What we often call chemistry or attraction is the manifestation of an already established mental, emotional, and energetic connection. This connection later becomes physical, and that moment of recognition is what we call the spark of love. It is important to understand that this process of creating chemistry with others always occurs on an unconscious level, although we can consciously guide it. After all, chemistry is simply energy, romantic, sexual, and emotional energy flowing between two people. A key aspect of love energy is that the universe does not differentiate between its various forms. There is no clear boundary between love for family, friends, oneself, or a romantic partner. It is all part of the same energetic field. When we create and expand love energy, we attract more of it into our lives. The energy we project acts as a mirror, constantly reflecting back to us. People naturally tend to return the energy they receive. This explains why we perceive certain people as particularly kind. When we say someone is loved, we are actually acknowledging that they emit such a steady and abundant energy of love that we cannot help but reflect it back. Similarly, when we talk about attraction, we are referring not just to physical appearance. True attraction comes from the energy a person radiates, their ability to attract positivity through the powerful energy of love they emit. This radiant energy of love draws people to them. But how can we direct this energy toward a specific person rather than just cultivating love in our lives in general? As mentioned earlier, it's likely that someone has already directed such energy toward you at some point, perhaps without even realizing it. You may have done the same for others, unintentionally creating a magnetic pull. For example, when you begin dreaming about someone, imagining them in a romantic light, you are actually sending love energy directly to that person. Since we are all interconnected, they feel it on some level. Just as you can sense when someone is thinking positively about you, others can feel the love energy directed at them, even from a distance. It's like sending an anonymous love letter, though it's not truly anonymous. When that person finally meets you, something clicks inside them. Subconsciously, they recognize you as their admirer and begin to feel drawn to you, though they may not understand why. Their soul knows. Thus, if we focus solely on positive and loving thoughts about the people we want to build relationships with, they will be magnetically attracted to us. Love energy is incredibly strong in this regard. Its pull is irresistible. As humans, we are naturally inclined to reflect the love energy we receive. The problem arises when we think we are sending only positive energy, but in reality, our intentions are often clouded by other emotions. You might recall past infatuations where you dreamed about someone, but they didn't seem interested. This happened because your thoughts were unclear. While you were dreaming about something positive, you also allowed negative thoughts to creep in, such as wondering why they didn't love you or even telling yourself that it didn't matter anymore. You constantly switched between these positive and negative thoughts, sending love and then canceling it out with doubt. As a result, your feelings either had no effect or even pushed the person away, making them feel overwhelmed. The first and most important step is to eliminate all negative thoughts and comments about this person. Imagine that everything you think or say about them is directly conveyed to them, because in terms of energy, that's exactly how it works. If you don't get rid of this negativity, nothing else will work. Your efforts will be canceled out, and you won't see any results. The second piece of advice stems from the first and is equally important. You need to stop negative self-talk and avoid negative thoughts about others. The universe doesn't differentiate between types of love energy. If you think you can radiate love toward one person while harboring negative feelings toward yourself or others, it simply won't work. You attract more of what you focus on. So if you spend 15 minutes thinking positively about someone, but then spend the rest of the day in negative thoughts, the love energy you sent won't have any effect. Once you've worked on eliminating negative thoughts about the person you're thinking of, as well as in general, my third piece of advice is to add visualization to your daily routine, preferably alongside meditation in the morning and evening. These are the best times because your mind is in a more receptive state, either just waking up or preparing to sleep. At these moments, your thoughts can more easily penetrate the subconscious. Before you begin visualizing, I recommend spending 10 minutes in traditional meditation. Clear your mind of all thoughts, raise your vibrations, and focus on deep breathing in a calm setting. This is important because if you try to visualize when your mind is cluttered, your vision won't translate well into the subconscious. Imagine trying to see something through murky water. It simply won't work. Clear your mind first so that the vision you're creating is clear and focused. When your mind becomes calm, spend 15 minutes visualizing, but stop while you still feel positive. Don't push yourself to the point where negative thoughts start creeping in, as this will undo your progress. During this time, visualize positive and joyful moments with the person you're focusing on. Engage all your senses. Imagine talking, laughing, going on dates, holding hands, or even kissing. It's important to focus on what makes you feel good, as introducing any negative emotions into your visualization can cancel it out. My next piece of advice is to incorporate affirmations. However, the key is that these affirmations should not only be directed at the person you're thinking about. They should also develop self-love and positive energy in general. The goal is to create a more loving and positive atmosphere in your life overall. And remember that different methods work better for different people. Some people process information better through writing, others through listening to their own voice, and still others through powerful visualization. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to our next conversation in my next video.